Hi YouTube, it's me, the Shy Pianist, or you may know me as Donald of Zephyr Wargames, bringing you an updated the weather deck profile. Since with Dimension Force giving us 2 new cards, I've been requested to do an updated deck profile with the new stuff. So first and foremost, my deck is in standard size sleeves, as with all my other decks as they are. And secondly, this deck is made to be played for fun, but you can just take the deck core of it and just basically spin it in your own way to make it more competitive as much as you want. Right, without further ado, let's just go straight to the deck profile. So, starting straight off, we are playing triple Weather Painter Snow. This is your playmaker. Whenever she is normal summoned, you can place one the weather spell trap from your deck to your side of the field. All the weather monsters and the main deck monsters have the following effect of if once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field to activate the weather card, the weather card's effect, you can special summon this banished card. So all the monsters gain effects from the canvases, the spell and traps, and then they can return to the field during the next standby phase. There you go. Next, we are playing triple the Weather Painter Thunder. Now, Thunder, his effect is you can send one face-up continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard as cost. Then you can place one the weather spell trap from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. You can only use this effect of the Weather Painter Thunder once per turn. So what's great with Thunder is that he sends like your floodgates to the graveyard and then start placing the canvases you need on the board, and you proceed on from there. Next, we have triple the Weather Painter Sun. So Sun, I play 3 of because if he's in your graveyard, you can send one face-up continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard as cost. Special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, place the weather spell or trap from your hand face up in your spell and trap zone. So the idea with Sun is that when you link summon into Rainbow, you activate its effect to send one of your continuous spell traps, summon to the board and place one to the field, basically giving you an instant negate from gaining the effect from Rainbow. So that's why I would recommend to play him at 3. Next, because of the new field spell, I am playing triple the Weather Painter Cloud. Now, Cloud, if his effect is if another face-up the weather card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 the weather spell traps in your graveyard, place them face-up in your spell and trap zone. I'm going to use this effect once per turn. So the whole point of playing Cloud is that when you have him on the field and you link summon using your new canvases because of the field spell to summon Rainbow or Moonbow, you can then trigger Cloud and then recur back those canvases you used for link summoning. Which is why, it's just great to just reoccur stuff now. Next, we are playing the Weather Painter Rain. Now, I am playing Rain simply because you do need the monster count, sadly, because the weather canvases only give the Weather Painter monsters the effects, and if you don't see at least a Weather Painter in your hand in terms of monsters, you kind of do get into a sticky situation to try and at least get one monster, then start doing your power plays. So Rain, when she is special summoned, you can place one the weather spell trap from your hand in the spell and trap zone. So basically, when she comes back, you can then just place one from your hand to your side of the field. And lastly, I've cut down, but I played the one Aurora now. Aurora, when she's normal summoned, you can place the one the weather spell trap from your hand, deck, or graveyard to your spell and trap zone. Her other effect is your opponent cannot target the weather spell trap cards you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So ideally, yeah, once you set up establish a decent board and you have Aurora on the board, that's just extra protection. But most of the time, you will. If you have no other choice, you will like banish her to then activate the spell and traps, basically mitigating, allowing them to then destroy the back row. But yeah, I still recommend to at least have her. Okay, and so yeah, that's it for the monster count. You can play hand traps in replacement of some of the other text I have in the spell and trap department. By all means, choose your ratios as you wish. Right, onto the spells. We are playing the new the weather forecast field spell, 3 of them. First off, when this card is activated, you can place one the weather spell trap from your deck to your face-up spell and trap zone. So basically another way to turbo out and doing Snow's job. But yeah, in the form of a spells effect. The second effect is once per turn. If you would link summon the weather link monster, you can also use face up the weather cards in your spell and trap zone as the weather monsters for its link summon. So basically, canvases now become material for your link monsters. And lastly, during your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon the one weather monster from your hand. You can only activate the weather forecast per turn. So the third effect to additional normal summon is the same as all like the True Draco spells and traps, where you declare to activate, and then you resolve it by normal summoning your weather monster. But the fact that if you activate, you can place a canvas into play. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play effectively a rotor at its maximum. Okay, for the other weather cards, we are playing the triple weather snowy canvas. This is the one. So for all you new players who don't know what the weather canvases do, they give their effects to monsters that are in front and the 2 adjacent zones. So basically, the front, the zone that's above it, and the zones left and right of that zone, and it gives them their effects effectively. And each canvas, you can only control one of each, basically. So yeah, so Snowy Canvas gives the monster banish this card as a quick effect. Add the weather card from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of this turn except by drawing them. So if in these situation, in a sticky situation at times, if your opponent plays like a Bob White Raigeki of some sorts, or something that gets rid of all your monsters, you can effectively banish all 3 of your monsters, search one, but the 2 then resolve with you not adding. But it will then still allow you to keep your monsters, just a word of advice. Next, we are playing 2 Rainy Canvas. Now, Rainy Canvas gives the monster banish this card, target one spell trap your opponent controls, return it to hand. This is great because it has a nice little lock with the one of the other floodgates I'm playing in the deck. Okay. Next, we are playing the one Sunny Canvas. Now, Sunny Canvas and Cloudy Canvas I'm playing just for the namesake, because you do need some as fodder, but they still have the uses. Sunny Canvas, you banish one of your weather monsters, then target one monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, special summon the weather monster from your hand or graveyard, but not with the same name as the tributed monster. So effectively allows you to pick and choose what you need to have on the field in terms of monsters, or if you now play Change of Heart, take one of your opponent's monsters, then use Sunny Canvas, banish one of your weather monsters, then target the monster that you stole, tribute off, and then summon a weather monster from your hand or graveyard. It's a nice niche play. For the last of the remaining canvases, we are playing the one Cloudy Canvas. Now, Cloudy Canvas gives the monster banish it, target one face-up monster on the field, except during the damage step. You halve its attack, its current attack, and for the rest of the turn, but it can attack directly this turn. So ideally, you're doing this to either negate damage, or you're having your monsters be able to attack directly just for that bit of damage. Yeah, and potentially doing that little bit for game. For the rest of the spells, we are playing the one Terraforming to maximize the forecast to just see it as much as possible. Next, I am playing the one Monster Reborn and 2 Celestial Transformation. These serve as a purpose to help extend your board effectively, because Monster Reborn, once you've linked into Rainbow, it just gives you that monster to give you that Omnigate. Celestial Transformation gives you bodies on the board which you can then banish to activate your canvases, to activate the canvases effect, and basically don't suffer the downside of it being destroyed during the end phase. So just a means to just extend. These obviously can be your, extravagance, because the deck doesn't really need anything but Rainbow and Moonbow for the extra deck. So yeah, that's what I would advise. Or any Pot of Prosperity and that sort of stuff that you can play in the deck. Moving on to the traps, we are playing 3 Rainbow Canvas. Now, Rainbow Canvas is great on the fact that it gives the monster the effect of, if your opponent controls a monster, quick effect, you can banish this card, special summon one weather monster with a different name from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon other monsters from the deck for the rest of the turn. So it's basically a means to start snowballing out your monsters once the plays, as the game progresses, because your deck is very supposed to be a control-based style deck. But this allows you to keep turbling out monsters, and then you keep recurring them back to the field, especially the ones that you banish back onto your side of the field for more plays. Next, we are playing triple the Weather Thundery Canvas. Now, Thundery Canvas is essentially the battle trap. It gives the monster at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish this card, return that opponent's monster to the hand. So first and foremost, it's very important that this does activate in the damage step, so there's very few things your opponent would be able to respond to. And secondly, it is a non-target bounce. Yeah, so it's definitely one to play. For the rest of the lineup, we are playing triple Anti-Spell Fragrance. This, in tandem with Rainy Canvas, provides you the lock of returning your opponent's spell and traps to the hand, basically rendering them useless effectively, or you can basically effectively control a lot of the back row that they play, because if you say you had 3 Weather Painter monsters on the field with anti-spell in play, they set 5, and they could obviously be spell traps. You can then bounce 3 back, and then during back to your turn you can then bounce the remaining 2 back to the hand, assuming if we're playing a very little trap format, you can just bounce all the spells back, and then it'd just basically be pointless. And it's a way and means to do that. For the rest of the traps, we are playing 2 Skill Drain. You can play this at 3, but I decided to play at 2 because because now we can establish Rainbow a lot more effectively. Having Skill Drain is not exactly ideal, but yeah, Skill Drain, the Weather Painter monsters, they banish themselves as cost, which will then allow them to resolve afterwards, because they're no longer on the field when resolving. So it's a great means to just mitigate your opponent's monsters, and then just make use of your canvas's effects and go from there. And lastly, we are playing. I'm playing the one Heavy Storm Duster. Now, this is like I felt the need to at least put something to deal with back row if it's already been established, or and yeah, but you can argue, the Rainy Canvas already does that. But yeah, there'll be times where I feel that you at least need something to deal with the back row. But yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's it for the main deck, and on to the extra deck. Right, so onto the extra deck, we are playing triple Weather Painter Rainbow. This is your go-to Link 3, I would say, honestly, because the monsters it points to, it gains a Omni Negate. They banish themselves to negate a card or effect your opponent activates, or even your own if you want to, and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy them. So it gives Omni Negate, and itself, if your opponents would special summon a monster of monsters, you can send this link summoned card to the graveyard to negate the summon, and if you do, destroy it. So it's a negator for inherent summons, and it gives Omni Negates to your low level monsters. So what's not to love, honestly. Next, I only have the one Moonbow, but after consideration, I would recommend playing 2 more. Actually, I play it at 3 because Moonbow, when it is link summoned, you can special summon one of your banished the weather monsters. You can target one of you can special summon one of your banished the weather monsters. Second effect, if this link summon card is destroyed, you can special summon the Weather Painter Rainbow from your extra deck. And lastly, the weather monsters, effect monsters this card points to against the following effect. They can banish themselves to target one monster the opponent controls, banish it until the standby phase until the next turn. Now, the reason why I would recommend to play at least 2 or 3 is because the fact that you can just link summon this and then special summon with your banished Weather Painter monsters gives you an instant link for play. But otherwise, if we're in a format where the crucial play is relying on one monster to then start combo playing, Moonbow is great for that sort of format, to just basically prevent your opponent from doing, for example, I think Dragon Link plays or stuff like that, basically. So yeah, I was skeptical to think that you would only need to play 1, but after seeing its applications through testing, it is definitely, I would recommend to play at 3, especially because the extra deck is very, very flexible. Whatever you choose, and yeah, you can choose your own spin on that. Okay, for the rest of the extra deck monsters, I'm playing the one Almirage. Now, Almirage is a tech play where if you have normal snow and you have cloud on the field, you link off snow to make this, and then you trigger cloud to recur back your spawn canvases, basically. So it's a nice little niche play, and then you can then tribute itself off to protect your cloud, and then you can link summon into your rainbow and such. For the other link monsters, for Link 2s, I'm playing the one Cerberus and Phoenix just for generic pop, and IP just so they can summon Unicorn, which I'm playing at the one of. But yeah, these are just anything you can play or anything you want to play in the extra deck. As I suggested earlier, you can play 3 of the ones you do want to play, and you can play Extravagance or yeah. Next, for Link 4s, we have to play the one Access Code because it's a great utility from going from Moonbow straight into summon your banish, it's going to Access Code. The other sort of one of Link 4s I would recommend, Bomber Dragon's great for the fact that when you reoccur back, especially because each one activates, so when you special summon one, it pops the field, and then the other 2 you can then put the other remaining you can then put back onto separate zones. But it's mainly for the fact that it is a means to go into other Link 4s that then gives you options on that. You can also play rank 3 monsters, and then Nightmare Shark, number 47, Nightmare Shark, I'm going to a Zeus. But I feel the fact that you do need your canvases a lot more. You don't want many of the sort of entire bob wipes on the field. Next, we have the one Appaloosa. Again, it's just the means you can go straight to this with 2 materials, and gives you a means to just, if you can extend your plays, gives you a monster negate. Otherwise, yeah, that's all it is. And lastly, you're playing the one Boral Sword. Yeah, it just means the OTK. Well, alongside with access code. But yeah. Also to know, when you do special summon with your weather monsters to the zone, and then trigger Bomber Dragon, you can then trigger the Weather Painter again if you have a canvas to banish, and then basically avoid the blow up on the field. So yeah, there's a means to do that. Right, so that's it for the extra deck. Now, I'm going to actually show you like a nice little 2-card combo that I found with the new cards. Right, so we're going to have just a 2-card combo with just Snow and the Forecast. So starting straight off, regardless of each one, you can normal your Snow, you then place effect to place a canvas into play, and then you can then activate the Forecast to then place you another canvas into play. Then using Snow's effect, you banish using the Snowy Canvas effect to search you any Weather Painter monster. So I'm going to use Sun as an example. I should say any level 3 the Weather monster, and then using Forecast effect to then additional summon, and then with that you can then link summon straight into Rainbow, and then during your opponent's turn, this will then activate in the standby phase, and special summon give you a negate. Or you can go with the new Moonbow, and then if you go into Moonbow instead, you then target your Snow to then special summon it, and then that can then link into let's say Appaloosa for 2 negates, allowing you to then combo off of anything else. But yeah. That's just a nice little 2-card combo. There was one other combo I wanted to show, which is only a 3-card combo though, and that is you just add Cloud to the play. So you play the Weather Forecast, place any canvas into play, and then you normal summon Snow to then put another canvas into play. Then using effective Forecast, you can then additional normal summon your Cloud, and then link summon off into Rainbow or Moonbow. Actually, Rainbow is the play here, and then Cloud would then reoccur back the 2 canvases that you used for summoning. I thought it was a nice little thing you can do, and then if you really want, you can then just banish and search, and then during your opponent's turn, this will then come back as an Omni Negate for the turn. But yeah, this is really all the combos that the deck really does, even with the new stuff, and yeah, that's really it. So that's it for the video and the deck profile. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and as always guys, happy dueling!